It's Friday night. I just want to do a quick intro to this vlog. I just wrote my exam earlier today and drove home, etc. I had dinner with the family, and now I'm finally going to start packing for Jamaica. My first goal, honestly, after finishing was to make myself feel like I've been a part of Booktubeathon and start reading. And so one thing that I actually did was I downloaded which one was it? The third book in Vampire Academy, which I believe is Shadow Kissed. The third one in that series is my all-time favorite of the whole series, and I've been meaning to reread it for a while now, except the library doesn't have the audiobook, and I keep waiting for them to get it, but for some reason they don't want to. They only have Spirit Bound, and while the fourth one is most people's favorite, I really did not like the fourth one. Anyways, I decided I'd just hop it on Audible. It was perfection. I've listened to maybe 4 hours of it now, and I still love it as much as I thought I'd love it, and it's been 3 years, I think. Maybe more. It's been 4 years since I've read that book, and it's still just as good as I remember it. So it's 2 days later now since the last time I filmed. I was kind of in a pissy mood yesterday, so I didn't really film. I did finish Nice Try, Jane Sinner on the plane ride here yesterday. I actually ended up really liking this book. I think it starts off, you're kind of whoa, it's just very Caucasian at the beginning, but honestly the story gets better and better, and the more I read it, the more I liked it. It did take me a little bit of time to finally really like the main character Jane and some of the other characters. Her sarcasm even, I didn't quite buy it at first. I was like, you're just doing this as a defense mechanism, whatever, but once she opens up a little bit and once you kind of get to see a bit more of who she actually is, she will win you over. I really liked this book. I loved the game show aspect. I ended up liking a lot of the characters more than I thought I would, so all in all really good. And I kind of like that a lot of the characters weren't good people necessarily, but they were very likable. It was funny. I didn't laugh out loud too many times, but there were quite a few lines where I giggled, so it was pretty good. And then also on the flight, I started To All the Boys I've Ever Loved Before. Nope, To All the Boys I've Loved Before. And obviously everyone knows why I'm reading this. I just wanted to see the Netflix film as well. So I was just jumping on that bandwagon. I have never been interested in this type of story. I don't generally like romantic contemporaries, YA or adult. I like it when romance is a subplot to something else. I don't really like when romance is the main theme at all. But I wanted to watch the movie, so I was like, I'll just quickly read the book. I'm about 65 pages into it so far. It's so-so. I'm liking it a little bit more than I thought I would. I'm going into this literally with no expectations. Like I said, this is not my genre. I do not like fluffy YA contemporaries. So I'm going into it with a really open mind and just rolling with the punches and seeing how I like it. Lara Jean so far for me is a little bit too idealistic and romantic, but if I can just accept her for what she is and accept that that's how she sees the world and that she's a helpless romantic, then maybe I can objectively enjoy this story. So for the rest of the day, I'm gonna go find my friends because I slept in and they all left me, so I have no idea where they are. I'm either gonna go have breakfast or work out, go to the beach, get more reading done, and I'll see you soon. Chapter 28 now, and it's a lot better than I expected. First of all, I went into it thinking that literally Lara Jean, or the main character, would have 5,000 different crushes and that there was going to be at least 25 different love letters sent, and then for some reason I thought it'd be more each chapter is how she deals with each letter being sent, but it was not at all that. There's only 4 or 5 love letters that she's written. It was a lot more realistic, I guess, than I thought going into it. I truly thought they'd be really meaningless relationships and just like meaningless crushes. I guess I was kind of comparing it to, oh my god, the book by Becky Albertalli, The Upside of Unrequited Love, or Upside of Unrequited. In that one, she has something like 37 different crushes. It doesn't play as big a role as it does in this, like the actual crushes never come into the story, but for some reason when I heard about the premise of this book, I thought it would be similar, like it'd be like 40 people that she's had a crush on, even though she's only like 16 years old. Right now, at least, like only 2 of the people to whom the love letters were addressed to are actually a part of the story, and so it's a lot more manageable. The thing that's actually keeping me from reading the most is just the amount of like sun that I get. I get a lot of headaches when I'm in the sun for too long. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm like pretty sun-kissed. I have a tan and it's only day 1. I'm really hoping to be able to finish it tonight, but I don't know. It's kind of hard. Like, we do so much. I got to play tennis today. I got to swim a bit. We met a sea urchin. Like, I always end up doing so many like fun things. Like, I thought it would just be my friends trying to talk to me, but there's actually like fun things to do on the resort itself. But I do want to finish this as fast as possible. I packed 11 books and my goal is to get as many of those 11 done.
My name's Zoe. I am one of Sallya's homies from med school.
You're the other half plus this.
Yes, I'm getting there. And I am one of the people who would like to provide content for our channel. I also like to read, but obviously not as much as Sallya does, and
that's okay.
The book
we support everybody.
But yes, like she has goals for reading. So I am reading because we are on vacation in Jamaica. So I'm going to try my first book review.
No, well, you're not done. Okay, so we're doing a reading vlog, and I asked her to participate. Let me start.
Yeah.
Okay, basically, I already updated y'all. Laura Jean's like way. This is weird with you sitting right here. I respect her almost more now. There's some vulnerability in how open she is about how much of a romantic person she is, so I actually kind of like her now. That's the only update I have. Do you want to?
Okay, so here it goes, and Sallya will be our mentor. So I am reading Crazy Rich Asians. I've wanted to read it for a really long time. However, I feel like the catalyst was the fact that it was finally coming to theaters, so I had to read it. I am on chapter 13, page 101. It's kind of exactly what I wanted for a beach vacation, which is a light. It's not really rom-com yet, but I feel like it's trying to take that route. It's just an easy read, and I obviously appreciate that being Asian myself. You know?
Is the rep so far good, or is it like are there racist undertones? Is it like
I thought it was
very
a little
stereotypical, or is it like true to being Asian?
I think like a lot of my day-to-day life is more so like microaggressions, if that's, you know. But there, the book starts off, I don't know if I'm allowed to spoil, but like with a very like overt racism, like you're not allowed to stay in our hotel, but of course, and it was just based on the looks that they like were Asian, just came in from the rain, but like low-key they were this rich family. So it was very like it was based on the fact that you were Asian. I don't really get too much of that in real life. So it talks about people who are like extremely rich, and I like that I get to be part of that bougie life just even through a book.
Better or worse than Asian dramas? Because they're always rich in the dramas.
Well, half of the Asian dramas though is like you look at the beautiful people in it and like all the hot stars. They describe it as if they're like that attractive. I think Asian dramas are winning just for now. I'm only 100 pages in.
This one, of all the YA adaptations.
Oh, I was going to read that book.
I think this one has the most potential because Netflix usually does a really good job. So far, Darkest Minds already came out. You might not know what that one is, but it came out and a lot of people already were like, it wasn't the greatest. I'm still going to watch to support, but...
Yes. And you'll obviously watch this one to support.
Yeah.
It's going to take her like 2 seconds to finish.
Your goal should be to finish it.
Yeah, but the papers are thinner than you thought, and there's more pages than I thought there would be. I literally thought I'd be like on chapter 27 by now, but I am not.
All right, well,
see you guys later. Yeah.
Are you ready?
Ready.
Are you ready? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, great. I wanted to update y'all because I finished To All the Boys I've Loved Before. I was kind of mad because I definitely thought it was a standalone novel, but it kind of ends on a cliffhanger. So if you don't want to read the entire trilogy, I wouldn't pick it up. I went on Goodreads and I read a bit about the second book, and I'm still even more upset because I don't think I want to read the second book, and apparently every book gets worse. But like now I'm stuck because I liked the first book and it doesn't actually end as a complete It might be a little juvenile for some people, but I could really relate to it. And I thought Lara Jean was a good mix of sappy, but also unpredictable, because she was romantic and naive when it came to love, but she actually wasn't super not social, and she would do things that I wouldn't expect like an introverted homebody to do. So I actually really liked her. And then I started The Darkest Minds. That one I'm 15 pages in. I read Passenger and Wayfarer. I never remember which one's the first and which one's the second in the duology. But I really hated that series, so I was a little skeptical going into this one whether or not I'd like it. But I know that this trilogy was better received than her duology, so I'm still gonna give it a shot. But you know how for dystopians you need to like read 50 pages to get into the world? I'm still not into it, but I like it so far. That's it.
Swim away, swim away.
Swim away.
Swim away.
Bye.
No, swim off the camera.
Oh, okay. Page 150 now. At the very beginning I thought the pace was actually really quick, like it got right into it, but now I'm kind of finding that the pace is slowing down quite a bit. From what I remember when I read Wayfarer and Passenger, those were also fairly slow paced, so maybe that's just like a Bracken thing. The other thing too is, this is like very nitpicky and I'm sure no one else gives a shit, but some of the medical stuff in this book was a little like, there's one part that basically insinuates that if you're young and have a broken bone, you'd get a CT scan. And then there's another part where I think she's given a high dose of penicillin to induce seizure-like symptoms. And when I read that first, I was like... Otherwise, I do like the book. I like the characters so far. I don't know if I've just missed it, but there have been very minimal description of the characters themselves, so I'm having a really hard time. Like, I have no idea what Liam looks like. I have no idea what Chubbs looks like. I don't even really know what Ruby looks like. I must have missed that completely. I'm waiting to see if Ruby, is she black in the book or is that only a movie thing, you know? I'm a little confused right now. I also like still don't fully understand all the different colors. I at first thought that the different colors meant you were different levels of dangerous, but now I think the different levels mean you have different types of powers. Here and I'm so sad. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know how I'm gonna go back. I don't know how I'm not gonna have the water, all these beautiful black men. I'm gonna cut that out. I actually just wanted to give you a reading update, not talk about how sad I am about leaving. I'm on chapter 22 now, or page 347, and I'm almost done, as you can see. I don't know if I fully am on board yet with the romance of Liam and Ruby, and I'm still waiting for confirmation that this girl's black, but right now I'm just accepting it. So I think Chubbs is black. I think I figured that out, and I found out Liam has blonde hair, so I'm slowly like learning what the people look like, and now I understand the color system pretty decently. The only one I don't know is red, and I'm wondering if maybe she just like hasn't told us yet, and that'll come up randomly later in the book. Anyways, I felt like I was far enough into the book that I could finally watch the trailer without it being spoiled. One thing was spoiled for me, but that's okay. The like dance scene where he pulls her across with his like blue powers, I watched that and I was like, oh, is that a real thing? And then like a couple pages later it happened in my book. I'll see you soon, bye. Hi everyone, I wanted to do one last video to kind of wrap up my reading vlog real quick. I'm back in Canada now, and so my Jamaica trip is unfortunately over. I did finish The Darkest Minds on my flight home. The book I think actually like did get better, and by the end of it I liked it more than when it first started. I still don't know what the reds are, but I'm either gonna look it up at this point or wait and see. I feel like the pacing of the book is the same pace as like very character driven stories, and yet it's not super character driven in my opinion. It actually is like pretty plot driven. Usually plot driven books are much faster, and this one was pretty, I don't know, this one was pretty chill. I really liked all the characters in this book. I think they were all decently flawed, and like they had their quirks, and they were just like very interesting. I liked them. I think that sometimes like I wish it would have went a little bit deeper into some of their issues, although it did do a really good job of like showing how the trauma of the camps had affected all of them differently. I still sometimes wish it went like a little bit deeper, but that's okay. Some of the other stuff I think was just things about dystopian that I may or may not kind of love. Like, I don't read a lot of dystopian. I'm not the type of person who, if I like a certain genre, I will want to read everything in that genre. After I read Divergent and The Hunger Games, like, I was over it. I never bothered to read Legend. I never bothered to read this one. I never bothered to read all the other gazillion dystopian novels that had come out. And it was the same. After Twilight, I didn't bother to read every single other vampire novel that came out, which is a bit of a shame because usually it gets better and better for a while before it gets annoying. But some of the things about this one that I like didn't love was I didn't love the dynamic of her being afraid of her powers. I felt like I'd seen that a few times in a couple other series. I want to see characters that are excited about their abilities. I understand that it is terrifying and that you might hurt somebody. Sometimes it's good to see someone just own up to their powers, want to be curious about it. Like, you watch Spider-Man. Was Peter Parker afraid of his powers? Like, no, he went up onto the roof and like practiced and tried to figure it out. And I'm just like, why can't we have more characters like that who want to go in there and learn about their powers, who aren't afraid of it, who don't need like coaxing by 15 other men? Like, you can do it and you don't need to be scared of it and you're not a monster. I totally understand why she didn't believe in herself. So, like, it's believable, I get it, but sometimes I just want a character that you can look up to. Like, you know how many times if I'm scared I will think about how from the Throne of Glass series will do that whole my name is Selena Sardothian and I'm not afraid or something. She says something similar to that. I think about that shit when I'm scared. Like, that helps me. Or like, if I'm at the gym and I'm super tired, I think about like scenes from the Shadowhunters series where they're training and how tired they are and how it must feel, but how you gotta just keep going. Like, that type of stuff fuels me, and I sometimes just wish more characters were going for it and would own their badassness. And I'm sick and tired of seeing like these people who are scared of their abilities and they have to like work to it, and we don't get to see them being badass until the final book. Like, that's the final chapter. That's the end game, is them being badass. Like, no, give me badass from the beginning. I don't understand why it needs to be like a transition thing, you know? Anyways, that's not a bad about the book necessarily. It was just something that I personally didn't like. I wish Ruby took charge more. And on that note, I kind of felt like sometimes in the book, maybe I'm reading into this like too much, but sometimes in The Darkest Minds, I just felt like a lot of the female characters were pushed aside, and it wasn't done intentionally. It was just like, let the big boy sit at the table and we'll figure out the important political stuff and you go take care of Suzume. Or, don't worry about it, I have it under control and us 5 men will talk about it. And again, I don't think it was like done intentionally. Felt like it was trying to normalize that women weren't assertive. I don't know, it was like a little, it just rubbed me the wrong way. Ruby couldn't go to one meeting because she was too distracting. Like, excuse me. And then later, like, she was sent away to babysit Suzume because she was better at it. And I was like, okay. And then there was this other time where the bad guy does it to one of the other kids. I think her name was Olivia, where like she gets shooed out of the room as well and he has everything under control. And I was like, it's getting kind of old. Like, none of the girls were ever really at the table. And I guess there's Kate, but we don't really see her. So I'm really hoping for the rest of the series that like there are some female characters who are a bit higher up and actually do shit. Because otherwise, it's just going to be a bunch of 17-year-old boys like who think they're businessmen and big political players. So yeah, those are kind of my like general thoughts on the book. I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm actually really excited to see the movie now. Now that I've read the book, I can see why they might focus on the romance a bit more, but I'm excited to go watch it. I don't know when, but hopefully very soon. So that concludes my Jamaica reading vlog. I didn't do as well as I wanted to. I only read 3 books. My goal was definitely like 5 to 6, but you know what? I had so much fun. I did so many other things. I got to play sports, I got to swim, I got to sail, I got to do so many other things that I'm not even upset about that. And hopefully I'll keep this up and I'll read a bit. I'm on Family next, so maybe I'll have time. Bye!